Agudath Israel has always been there to help answer the needs of our community. In its various areas, it's helped individuals to find employment. It has helped refer individuals for various social services. It has done its work, of course, in terms of government activism and providing legislation. It has helped schools. One of the areas that has been of important focus over the recent past has been the areas relating to end-of-life situations.
Avinu Malkeinu Shalach Refuah Shleimo Refuah Sanefesh Refuah Saguf Lechoyle Lechoyle
Teve für Jeden nicht gelacht, der Teve für Goyim, a viele kein Junior 4. Jeden seinen Weg. Der Torah hat es gemacht, ein anderer Teve. Also ist es geschaffen geworden.
In the last 6 months, 2 laws were passed by the New York State Legislature, the Palliative Care Information Act and the Palliative Care Access Act. These basically say that when a person presents to you with a serious illness and has an anticipated 6 months to live, you have to tell them you have a very serious illness which you're probably going to die from. This is what we can do for you, but many people will not benefit. You have the right to refuse care and to go straight to the hospice. When I was confronted with this very serious issue of having to abandon some of my patients in order to please the insurance companies and even more to please the hospitals, which are pressuring us to stop supporting such patients. The question was whom to turn to as an organization that had the guts and the knowledge and the expertise to speak out and the record to achieve something of this sort. And so I turned to Agudath.
Chayim Aruchim came about because the Agudath was getting calls from various different people about hospitals wanting to pull the plug. We had a situation where the hospital was saying in 2 days we're pulling the plug. We contacted our lawyers, and then even before the lawyers even got into motion, I told the person, go to the hospital and tell them that the Agudath is getting involved. The person went to the hospital and the hospital backed off immediately.
Situations from the bedside in a hospital where the doctors in the hospital are saying we've got to pull the plug and terminate treatment on this patient. The Rabbanim are saying halacha requires that treatment continue to be provided. How do you deal with those kinds of situations?
A year ago, my sister's 12-year-old son, Muttle Brody, developed brain cancer. Unfortunately, the operation was not successful and he never woke up from his surgery. 2 weeks before he was nifter, the hospital decided that they no longer wanted to keep him and they wanted to pull the plug.
Baruch Hashem, we were able to find an attorney, Jeff Zuckerman, in Washington to take the case on pro bono.
Abba Cohn from the Washington division, who in the middle of the night went to a judge, woke him up, and asked for permission to stop what they were planning to do. There's no way to describe the pachad that we felt as a family, that there was nobody there for us, and then Agudath came like malachim, and they were there to save us.
There was recently a case where there was a woman in her mid-50s came into the hospital with symptoms of stroke. This woman did not have any kids, so the ones who were taken care of was her husband and the nephews and nieces. While the charge nurse came upon her and asked if they would like to sign a DNR/DNI, the next day the patient plugged. Plug means the patient choked, and because the patient had a DNR/DNI, they did not resuscitate. She died. A life was taken away only because of the newest healthcare act.
Chayim Aruchim brings together the hospitals, the doctors, the rabbanim, the lawyers to work together to make sure that the decisions are made according to halacha.
I cannot emphasize enough how important it is that every member of this community over the age of 18 sign a medical directive. Anyone who has any familiarity of what goes on in hospitals knows that at these critical times there is chaos, and the only way to bring order out of chaos is to clearly have a medical directive, so that at this very difficult and chaotic time of a person's life, that the issues that are necessary to be decided and often be decided within a very short period of time, minutes or hours, are decided with the halachic guidance of a competent paisik.
The last week before my father passed away, the Agudath, in conjunction with Metropolitan Jewish Hospice, had my father come down to the hospice, and they treated him with the most dignity, kindness. They took care of him in every way, whether it was spiritually, physically, emotionally.
For the last 17 years, my brother-in-law had cancer. At one point, the hospital says we don't have what to do with him. Take him home. Where do we go? We called the liaison from the hospital, came and told us the Agudath will help you. I told him, I don't know Agudath will help you. I know Agudath took care of bosses for the yeshivas, and they took care of the fertility bill, but I don't know about this. It's a new thing. I'm called Agudath. They gave me a phone number. Chayim Aruchim came in, took over the whole issues, and they arranged everything to have a hospital care at home.
There's a girl who first at 12 became very ill. She had a tumor that most people respond to very well, but she was in the 2% that did badly. She was my patient for 8 years. And during that 8 years, she traveled to Advocacy Israel. She did many, many, many things. Recently, the disease progressed, and so we had her waiting for a lung transplant, and she died in Pittsburgh. But we had the zchus to have this person live for an extra 8 years. And it was a person who would not have had that privilege. And her life can be attributed, the lengthening of her life, not to one person, but to an attitude, to our attitude, that every moment is important.
Refuah shleimo,